Okay, now I have all of my papers all folded, and now I'm ready to tack with a little bit of glue the first piece. So you look at the pattern, and I've labeled this that the number 1 is beige. And so on the back, I put a little dab of glue, and then I put my square that I've pre-cut. Over here are all of my pre-cut pieces, so that I can have everything ready to go, and your instructions for pre-cutting are on your pattern. Okay, so to do this, I have 2 left to glue. So here's my number 1 spot. I always just hold my finger on it and turn it over so I know where I'm putting my glue. And I just use a little glue stick and put a little tiny dab. It's beige and it's a triangle shape. So I'm going to get one of my triangles, and then when I put it on there, I'm going to line it up so that the straight edge is lined up on the fold. And I'm going to center it because I've trimmed my pattern so it's pretty close to the same amount around all the sides. Then I'm going to hold my pattern up to the light and look through it and make sure that this triangle has a seam allowance around all 3 sides. So pre-cutting your fabric is really important when you're doing paper piecing. Instead of just getting a big hunk of fabric and then laying it on and then having to flip it and trim it, it's much easier to just guess big and put a big triangle on where you know it's going to work. Okay, and I always glue all my number 1 pieces for that block so that I'm ready to sew, and then I can chain piece several of these. And I know where to glue because I have my fold or my trim line. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at number 2. Here's number 2, and it's a black and it's a triangle. So I'm going to find one of my black triangles, and that's piece number 2. I'm going to place it, this is right side up. I've glued the back side of the fabric. I'm going to put number 2 fabric on it, and I'm going to line up along that raw edge. Then I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to sew, do you want that light off? I'm going to sew along that solid line. And since this seam is close to the edge, I'm going to go right off the paper. I always use a leader if I can so that I don't have to have long tails. Then I'm going to take it to my ironing board and I'm going to open it up and I'm going to press it. And you can see where I've sewn right along that solid line. And since I know what size this triangle is going to be, next I'm going to look and make sure that I've got a seam allowance. I'll just hold it up to the light and make sure. And then I'll press it, and then I will do another few number 2s and then show you.